All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's time to start our webinar today. So welcome, everyone. My name is Janne Kilpeläinen, and I'm the moderator for our webinar today. My day job is to look after Haltian's sales and marketing. I'm currently here in Oulu in Finland, the northern part of Finland, and it's sunny and blue skies, and we can really feel the summer has arrived here. So I was tempted to host this webinar sitting outside in sunshine, but maybe I thought that was a little bit too casual. So today we have an interesting agenda. We have three distinguished gentlemen joining our webinar today. Our partners are presenting today from ISS and TietoEVRY. And they'll be discussing a little bit more about how they have applied IoT in their business and services and how they see smart building and facilities bring value for their customers. As a way of getting started, let's introduce our speakers for today. So Jari, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and ISS as a business? Where do you come from and what do you do?
Sure, thanks Janne. So my name is Jari Tirkainen. I come from ISS Finland. I'm the head of our digital excellence, so I'm in charge of our development of our different products in digital ways. Under my unit, we do provide our customers with IoT solutions and AI solutions, RPA robotics and so on. And in general, ISS is a huge global company. We do occupy almost 500,000 employees in several tens of different countries. We are one of the largest facility management companies in the world, and we have been selected several times as the best outsourcing service provider for FM industry.
That's very good. I don't want to jump the gun here or spoil your presentation, but yeah, something as traditional as facility management and Internet of Things, how do they actually add up?
I would say perfectly. If we're talking something as analog as a building and current world situation where everything is going digital, I see it as a remarkable opportunity to come up with a different kind of ways to make a hard cold building and structure come to life by adding some IoT sensors and other added intelligent parts in a building. And everything this should be actually in the need of creating better emotions, better service concepts, better feeling for the building users. So I do think that they stack up brilliantly.
I like the answer already. Thanks for that. Let's move on to our second speaker, Tommy. Could you please tell us a little bit about where do you come from and what does TietoEVRY do?
Yeah, I come from Finland. Yeah, so my name is Tommy and I work in TietoEVRY Corporation. Modestly, if they have 500,000 employees, we only have 24,000 employees. We are quite large ICT service provider in Nordics, but we are delivering services globally to our customers. Different type of IT type of solutions and products.
Yeah, good. You have some impressive background in developing these workplace solutions, and you are invited all over the world to speak at the events and are considered as one of the thought leaders in these workplace solutions. And again, I don't want to steal the thunder from your presentation, but how do you see the current situation impacting the way people use their office and behave in those? Our office is still going to be the place to go 9 to 5 days a week after these lockdown periods all over the world.
Well, first of all, I only have less than 4 years experience of providing this kind of facility or workplace type of digitalization solutions. But applications for end users, I have done more than 30 years. So yes, a long history of
You are a typical
end
modest
user
Finn.
applications. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, last almost 4 years now with a solution called Empathic Building, which I will tell more about little bit later on. But going back to this situation, which is weird, we are totally separate, but we are now together, and I see that we have more than 100 participants, and this is so weird. Typically I speak events, and I face my audience, and actually I see the reactions, and I use human as a sensor because I can sense them. But now these 100 and something participants, I don't get feedback. So I don't have no idea that how my things are resonating to my audience, and this makes it a little bit hard for me when delivering keynotes. That's a challenge and a weird thing. But then coming back to the office environments and way we work, it will change permanently. And I have been wondering myself, what is my reason after this when it is again totally safe to go back to the office? Why would I go? What do I miss there? What is the attraction that will really drive me? I live 35 kilometers out from downtown Helsinki, a little bit countryside. And I can spend 45 minutes / 1.5 hours in traffic every day, one direction, and same thing back. What would be so attractive thing in the office that I would go back there? Because now we have a culture working distantly but together through digital solutions. So that brings challenge for these headquarters and other campuses, how to attract people back to the office. And I have a mind, like a idea that what kind of ambition level it should be. Let's have an example. In Tieto Corporation, when we have most people on site in our office, is Christmas party once a year. More than 1,500 employees, typically easily less than 1,000. Currently, we are talking about 20. So my ambition level to attract people back to the physical space is Christmas party every day. That's the ambition level we need to go.
Christmas party every day. I love the answer.
Yes.
Already.
Yeah, Christmas party every day level. That's the ambition level we should think about the employee experience to get people back to the office.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Pasi, I know very well who you are, but why don't you tell the rest of the participants who you are, where you come from, what do you do?
Hi everybody, I am Pasi Leipälä. I'm CEO and co-founder of Haltian. And Haltian is a company creating IoT solutions from the stock and also as custom solutions to customers in 20 countries. We have been around in business for 8 years now and practically doing the same things quite long. Our team size is about 100. So compared to TietoEVRY and ISS, we are quite small, but as a technology company, we are pretty strong anyway. Before Haltian, our team and myself, we were creating different mobile devices and mobile solutions, not only mobile phones, but other things at Nokia. So I have been in the business for 25 years, creating new kind of digital and electronic solutions there. And we have been able to collect a team of excellent experts here in Finland, in Oulu, but we also have presence at the capital area in Espoo and also in UK, Germany, Singapore and USA. So we are working internationally with the biggest ones in the world.
That's very good. As you mentioned, you are one of the founders of Haltian, and you wouldn't believe, but you have over 20 years of experience in developing hardware products and hardware-enabled software. So based on your experience and the feedback you get from customers and partners we have, where are we today in this Internet of Things adoption curve?
Yeah, many of us are familiar with the Gartner hype cycle, so where we know that there is a peak of expectations which are inflated in certain phase, and then is coming the plateau of productivity. And the peak of expectations was around 2014, 2015 there, and then it came down, and now in a couple of past years we have been able to reach the plateau productivity. So we are seeing more and more value bringing use cases in IoT, and it has been now starting to go in the wide use and the real good use cases. We will be talking more about those today. But I would say that we are still in the beginning, so there is maybe 20-30% of the certain level of industries and companies who have been able to adopt IoT solutions in a productive way. Then there is maybe 30-40% who are considering to do that, but then there still is the biggest part have not started yet. But now it's a good time to start.
Very good. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Tomi, Jari, and Pasi for the brief chat here in the beginning, and I hope you are all warmed up now for your presentations as well. At least I am. I'm really looking forward for those. So Jari, the stage is yours. Please.
Brilliant.
Take the control over the slideshow.
Yes, the wonders of the modern day world. I can actually jump on your screens. Yeah, okay, so yet again, hi everyone, Jari Tirkanen from ISS Finland, and if I do get this, you are now. Haha, yes, okay. Yeah, so from ISS point of view, when talking about the question that Janne also gave in the early, that how do I see that facility management and facilities and IoT collide, we have to take a little bit step in the back and see where facility maintenance actually has came from. Oh, now it's running. Well, we actually talked in the rehearsals that we should have some kind of demo effects, and I think I was able to actually get that. Huh. Okay. I'm not gonna touch on anything, so hopefully it won't happen again. So in a bit earlier phase, facility management was highly reactive. So we were actually competing against other players in the facility management business that who is actually first and the fastest to respond in a emerging thing or a alert or a incident happening in the facility. We were not collecting any data automatically. Our employees were actually gathering and writing up data from water meters and electrical meters. We were analyzing every bit of the information by our brilliant engineers, and yeah, we will be sharing. And every single conclusion, easy conclusions or difficult conclusions, were actually made individually and case by case by our engineers. Then we started to approach a little bit into proactive world where we could identify different data sources, but they were still scattered very widely in a different kind of systems. But we were actually able to automatically pull the information in from those systems. And at the moment, we are breaking the border between proactive and predictive, where we can actually start using IoT gathered data and enriching the existing elderly gathered data. We can start using machine learning into creating different kind of predictions. We can actually understand also user-based different kind of patterns in the data, and we can, with the help of the data, actually start to understand better how the users want to use the facility and how the facility is used at today's world. Hopefully I won't break anything now. Let's see. This ain't working. Janne, can you hop on to the next one?
Yeah, looks like there is a bit of a lag.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so basic question that everyone is asking from me and from, I think, most of the people who are working around IoT is that why are we trying to do this? Well, we can see the facility management industry is digitalizing very fast. We're talking about the fourth revolution, and we're talking about digitalization every single aspect in the field of factory life, and now it's coming even closer to the office buildings, and every bit of the, let's say that digitalization has been used in factories for quite a long time, and from there it actually stepped into the facilities around the factories, and from there it actually started to come to every bit of the factory, every building around us. And today it seems that very many building users are actually asking for different kind of services that can only be provided with added digitalization. And when we do think about what we are going to digitalize in a building, we do not think of them ourselves. We always turn towards our customers, because why we are doing anything as a company is that we want to provide the best possible service encounter with our people, every people that we meet on a daily basis. And so we have this brilliant tool called touch points, where we actually identify different points of a employee's daily work where we can actually help the employee or the building user a little bit better. Oh my God, I'm struggling to, I'm jumping all over the presentation. Yeah, so why did we start to do this? We understood that there are tons of different kind of data sources in a building that can be actually used in the need of creating something new and creating something better. So we started to create a digital solution where we could actually pull all different kind of sources of information in the need of starting to analyze them. And after we started to analyze them, we started to create different kind of an understanding on what can we actually automate from the analyze phases. And everything this has been done in the need of being able to provide every single building user a little bit better environment in their daily works. I do believe that every building should have a productive environment that fits the needs of the most of the users in the building. The days where building users had to adapt into the capabilities of a building are actually passing by, and the new wave is that the building actually needs to adapt into the building needs to adapt into the needs of the users, and the needs of the users are highly changing. So that's why we need better solutions, better digital solutions that we used to have. And how are we doing this? Of course, like I mentioned, in our key value point is that everything comes out from the customers. We do not invent something for the sake of ISS. we do actually innovate everything in the sake of being able to provide better services to those people who we meet every day. And being a large global player, these kind of venues cannot be actually achieved without having a very thoroughly thought framework on how to operate IoT on. I'm very happy to see that some of my colleagues are also on the line. We created a global digital excellence, a group of people from various different countries, where we actually come up and try to innovate the best usable solutions globally for ISS. And that's one of the things that actually enables us to be able to provide the best possible services in every single country where we do operate. But when we are at the building stage, we do create super many different kind of proof of concepts, and we try to keep them very small, because even though we are a large company, not all the things that we are trying to redo or re-innovate are large. So we do very small proof of concepts or MVPs. We try to make everything in micro modules for easy expansion and easy adaptation into different kind of customers and different countries in ISS. But everything that we do, we try to do it in a very agile way, or in my words, I try to fail super fast so that we can actually see what is operational and what needs to be thought through again. But maybe one of the most important things when it comes to the fact on how we do IoT in ISS Finland is that I rely on my ecosystem or my network, or someone might call them partners, but I think that they are a lot more than just partners. They are part of our innovation journey, and they are part of our solution. So I'd like to call them members of our ecosystem, and with the help of those people is the only way that we can actually come up with the world's best services that we are creating with IoT at the moment. And on that note, I'm just happy to be here, and I do thank. Sorry, I was reading the question from Andrew. How do I monetize this intelligence solution? Are the customers looking for different business models, such as event-based billing? Yes, they are. Yeah. Of course, being a large company like ISS, we do have very many different kind of customers. So depending on the customer, the needs also vary a lot. But yes, event-based or action-based billing or action-based services is something that is on a high rising demand at the moment. Monetizing the intelligent solution that's a very tricky question. There isn't an easy answer for it. We have global best practices, and with those best practices, we do actually gather business case calculations on how much does it actually cost to enroll the system out or the solution out, and how could you actually gain some savings, or what is the monetary feedback of the solution. But at the end point, every single solution that we are producing in a customer side is always looked through individually, a case by case. So I'm sorry, but I do not have a one answer fits all on this one. But yeah, back to the ecosystem, like network and partnership. One of the best examples of this kind of a partnership for ISS Finland are these two fine gentlemen who are here with me. So TietoEVRY is a large companion also for ISS. ISS Finland. There is their solution that we have been also using and helping Tommy's team on how to connect services into their brilliant solution. But on that, if Janne is trying to not spoil Tommy's presentation, I'll try to be as polite, and I'll hand over this to Tommy.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Jari. And you can actually give the control to Janne. And
yeah, I'm in control back.
All right, good. Because I have only a few slides and I don't want to get messed up with those.
Yeah, give me a hint when you want to.
Yeah, let's start with the first one and about empathic building. So, okay, the layout is totally different than in my PowerPoint, but don't worry about that. Yeah, so like I said, my history creating applications and user applications almost like 30 years, and last now almost 4 years I've been commercializing this empathic building service, which is basically it's a digital twin solving actual end user problems in work environments and different other environments like hospitals. It's a web browser based graphical engine that brings the invisible data visible to help our colleagues to survive in the modern office and digital environments. And today I will actually will select one of the most important use case, how to come back to the office safe way using IoT sensors, using our visualizations solution, and using ISS service as a ecosystem. And because our main target with empathic building is to improve employee well-being and happiness and deliver the best possible end user experience totally for the users, that we are in the level Christmas party everyday level kind of happiness when people are coming back to the offices and using even offices in the current situation. And Janne, you can go to that next slide. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, well, this looks better. Here are few examples of the use cases. I don't have time to go through them. There is my contact information, my email, and my phone number. You can WhatsApp me and ask questions about the other use cases. I will now only concentrate with one of very important and safe, when we are safely back to the office use case, that how during this COVID threat and outbreak situation we are safely utilizing IoT and using our office. So concentrating how to select your desk when you are in the office. And if we go to the next slide, what I will actually present for you is the real situation from our own campus. We are populating, TietoEVRY is populating in Helsinki, or actually in Espoo. We are populating old Nokia headquarters. We are sharing this huge old Nokia campus jointly with Microsoft and Fortum. We have 1.5 buildings, 21,000 square meters that we are populating. This is the screenshot taken from the Empathic building. But what I will do now is that I will share my screen. So we will actually virtually visit our campus. And there we go. This is the real time real data situation from our campus now in Espoo. As you can see, the utilization is very low. Actually, last week it was only 3%. So I can imagine that our CFO, also named Tommy, can be a little bit sad because 21,000 square meter is now quite empty with the 3% utilization. But this is the situation. And actually here you can see what type of things we have done with the real-time data. Now, we have a way of indicating that these persons might be too close to each other, so we are highlighting persons, location data that they might be working to. Now they are in a safe distance. So this is really not a demo. This is the real situation. And Empathic building, like I said, it creates the digital twin of the office that works in your web browser, on your mobile phone, info screens, wherever. You can run it 2-dimensional view. You can have it on 3D. You can check the data from the different angle. You can even go into the first person perspective for navigation and other type of use cases. So the visualization engine that we have built is a super intelligent and fast to create these so-called trendy digital twins. So this is how our campus looks like in a full scale with all the floors and so on. And the funny detail is that when we are talking about kind of virtual solutions, we can even create floors that doesn't exist. So this is our remote roof, where people working from the home offices can check into the virtual roof, and we can share things together with our colleagues, being distant but virtually close to each other. And of course we have the face masks. This is important part of this current situation. All right, but let's go back to the use case I was mentioning. So now during this situation that we have, we want to provide safe way people to use the office. So what we do is that with our digital twin, we are showing all the desks which has been used during today, have been, which are currently in use, and has been used today. So with the one view, I can see that all these 2 desks, they are populated, these 3 desks here, and all these desks in this area has been used today, previously today. And this gives really good overview from the end users to select the desk that has not been used today. And this type of data is typically not visible when you come to the office on afternoon, that has someone been using this desk this morning. Really good and powerful tool for end users to select the desk. And then end of the day, we have our ISS as our service operator here. What we have agreed with them is that end of every workday, as in our campus, all the desks are shareable, so no one doesn't have currently dedicated desks. Of course, they could have, because there is so plenty space now, so the overcrowded is not even possible in this kind of situation. So, but what we do is that after the work hours, every desk used today will be cleaned and disinfected, just in case, so that someone else can take the same desk next morning. So this is a safe for the end users. And actually, the really good saving part also comes as a benefit there, that you don't clean properly all the desk. Of course, you do basic dust type of overall cleaning, but like disinfecting and using chemicals, you can only now do with the desks which really has been used today. So you can imagine, instead of cleaning 1,100 desks, you just clean 25 end of every day. So there is a clear efficiency and safety use case. We have a totally also new, if now everybody's thinking that do we need to have all these sensors, and if you ask Haltian, of course. So every table has a sensor under the desk that which actually shows that it's a movement sensor or presence sensor. So it detects the movement and the sensor knows that someone is using it. But actually we have a new just signed case from Norway, a company called Subsea7. They are starting to use just the digital twin, and for now without sensors. So what they do is that they give the total freedom of the end users still select the desk. But what they do with the digital twin is that they are checking in to the desk as an end user. And this is how they dedicated the desk for the end user. And they allow this end user to use as long as this person wants to use the desk. And when they are done using the desk, or they want to change the desk, or they next week they are going to be working totally remotely, or whatever they want to do, or there is a new project and the person wants to change the place, person can check out from the desk. And what they can also do is that to create a service ticket, so that after they left the space, of course we can totally automate this, but you can leave the service tickets that clean this desk, please. I will write now. Ignore, this is just Tommy test ignore, so that actually otherwise ISS will actually clean this desk. So now I submitted the ticket, so super easy. And for the maintenance perspective, now from the service ticket list, what you can see is that wherever you are in campus, when you see that clean this desk, please, and now note that there is nothing indicating which desk. So when the maintenance people, they see this ticket, what they can do is that they can click the link and the solution shows the desk that they need to operate with. Very, very useful and efficient tool for the and safe way of using this so-called digital twin and safe way of using your office space with or without sensors. Of course, with the sensors, because it brings real value, that you don't manually need to keep book who is using what, or spend HR or managers time to dedicate and nominate the desks for the actual end users. And the same thing with the rooms. There is a Haltian sensors in the room, so that you can end of the day check that which, let's say, yesterday what meeting rooms were in use. So with one view you can see that you don't need to clean other rooms than the ones that were used during that workday. So this is also brings huge amount of efficiency from the maintenance and efficiency perspective. And now you are wondering that, oh, okay, now these sensors and how the data flows and so on. So before I shoot this ball to Pasi from Haltian to go in more details, I said that Empathic building is a tool that can bring invisible data visible. Yes, we do it also with IoT. So what our solution can even visualize is the mesh network created together by Virepas and Haltian sensors, and we can even show how the data flows live for troubleshooting and other maintenance perspectives, how much there is a battery life, and we can visualize the desks and sensors attached to desk which are running out of the battery. So this is a really good tool for utilizing that type of IoT data. And my last thing before I give this to Pasi is that you are wondering that what type of implementation and what type of work this is to create this kind of safe tool. It's actually super easy. Haltian sensors, like I said, they are totally wireless, and you attach the sensor under the table using just a two-sided tape, or that you attach the sensor without anything else. Then you read the ID of the sensor, and then from Empathic building user interface, you attach the data provider, the motion sensor ID, read from the Haltian sensor under the table using, for example, Haltian installation app to show the ID and connect it to the certain object on the digital twin. Pasi.
Excellent. Thank you, Tommy. There's a lot of questions coming on the chat side, so we'll save the questions.
Let's save them. Yes.
Yeah. But please do keep sending those questions in the meanwhile.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So it's always fascinating to see this demo of or the actual use of empathic building. So there is so much useful information available for the end users, but also then the second layer, that what is the technical data from that. So pleased to work with you, Tommy. So I think together this kind of a partner, so we are creating really good combinations. Okay, so I'm already in control. Thank you, Janne. At least I think so.
There's a bit of a lag, so
yeah, let's go back. Okay, so what I will be speaking, so as a reminder to others and those who might be joining late, so I'm Pasi Leipälä, CEO of Haltian, and one of the founders, and working actively with our products and customers all the time, hands-on. As a reminder from our company, so running in the business for 8 years, about almost 100 employees at the moment, headquarters in Oulu, but also presence in Espoo, Finland, in Germany, UK, Singapore, and USA, and customers in many countries. And we have been working our IoT offering since 2013, providing 4th generation of the IoT solutions. So we have been putting a huge amount of effort to make it seamlessly working and scalable there. What do we actually do? Our mission is to make Internet of Things easy, and we are providing the data collection layer for the IoT. And if you take a look on here on the right side, so where is this customer cloud service, for example, on TietoEVRY's Empathic building, or ISS owns, or any customer's app or service, and then we have some of our small services in the cleaning area on the Thingsy branded also. So practically any application service. So we are providing data for that one. And our heart of our system is the Thingsy Operations Cloud. It's the device management cloud where we are connecting different sensors and devices to gather the data. And the cloud solution, it enables security, scalability, and remote management for the devices. And for that cloud, we are collecting the data through gateways, which are typically cellular connected, so they are wireless. And then for those gateways, we collect data from small battery-powered wireless sensors, which are typically using wire-pass mesh, which enables that there might be even hundreds of sensors behind one gateway. And as Tommy showed in Empathic building case, so they also connect to each other and relay the messages from one sensor to each other. And we have a wide range of different sensors available for data gathering. And then also it's possible to have third-party sensors as a custom adaptation project in this system there. But this is the data gathering system, and it has been designed as a whole, meaning that we have been making all the device softwares, cloud software, all the device electronics design, and we are controlling the manufacturing, which means that we are able to ensure that everything works seamlessly, they are secure and working as planned. Okay, let's take a look on the lag if I can take it into next page.
I can move it.
Okay, so there are certain things which you need to be considering when gathering IoT data. Of course, the first thing is that you must think about what data you can be utilizing in your business. And actually, it's a two-way process. So first, having an idea, for example, in Empathic building case, that, for example, the presence data, that how you can be utilizing the presence of people in different places, but then it's also technology possibilities that you want, of course, take a look at what data you could be gathering and how to utilize that one. And when that's in place, so the data gathering system and sensors, it's a totally different thing to gather data from one or two data points. You can be making some Raspberry Pi thinking and some developer sensor device and make that work with some hand soldering and others quite soon. But typically these industrial players like houses like ISS or Lindström or others, so they are talking about one or thousands of measurements points, even tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and there you need to be taking into account the scalability. And that requires that all the processes in the working flow until the end user use is planned and designed in a way that it must be very easy to install and maintain. It's totally different if you are spending 30 seconds to install a sensor and activate that. For example, that's the case in Tieto's Empathic building place for the presence sensors. Or then you are making some hacking and using 1 hour to install one sensor. So as you can be understanding, it's not possible to use 1 hour if you are having population of thousands or tens of thousands of sensors there. Then the data needs to be accurate. So if you feed inaccurate data to systems, so then the whole system will be giving inaccurate information. But then on the other hand, you should not be over-specifying the accuracy, because that would be ending up wasting money, battery power or data usage there. So you need to be giving the right amount of accuracy. Then you need to be getting the data reliable. You must be knowing that, okay, if there was a person next to that desk, so it really was there, or then if the sensor says that there was not person there, so you must be relying that there was not the person, because, for example, in this use case what Tommy showed regarding the desk disinfection, so it would be quite bad situation if it shows that there was nobody and there doesn't go disinfection work ongoing there, and anyway it would have been needed there. Then the security part, as we have seen in the news in quite many things, that there are all kind of attacks and surprising incidents. You need to be making sure that the security has been designed from the beginning of the system, so you cannot be adding that later. So it needs to be end-to-end secure. And then, of course, the compatibility to other services, you want to utilize the data also in possibly in other services, providing that to ERPs, to companies, other systems, and maybe provide some other data there. So all of those are needed. Right. Yeah, some examples of the data, what can be utilized in smart facilities. Here we are using the most of the time. So some use cases, I have a couple of slides here and examples, and Tommy explained a lot of this occupancy data utilization in the desk occupancy meeting rooms, but for example, they can be used in visitor counting. For example, if you take a look in airports, for example, at Helsinki-Vantaa and some others, so there is this small sensors, which is called the white sensor Thingsy Presence, which is a small passive infrared sensor, wireless, battery powered with 5 to 8 years usage times. So it's on top of all the toilets, counting how many visitors there are coming, and then the service provider is making demand-based cleaning based on a certain amount of visitors that then they will be certainly making cleaning over there. And based on this occupancy data, you are able to plan the usage ratios and levels. And as you saw, so currently the usage ratio in TietoEVRY head office was 3%. There, if that stays like that, I'm sure that the CFO will be starting to think that, do we need these big spaces there? Can we be renting that to some others there? Then another thing in the premises is, another group is the environmental data for the indoor air quality. And why the indoor air quality is important. First of all, the indoor air quality affects to personal productivity. Are they in good shape, working in efficient manner? Are they satisfied in the workplace? Do they have the Christmas party every day as Tommy was targeting? And if the indoor air quality is bad, so it might be even having some health effects there. Some of the parameters which can be measured are, for example, CO2, carbon dioxide. And then I think all of us have been in a group meeting in some meeting room where after a couple of hours of intense working, so everybody starts to get tired and the air feels thick. So that's basically a big sign of increased CO2 levels. And by measuring the CO2 level can be measured, for example, on this Thingsy air sensor device, and you can be then, for example, increasing the ventilation based on that data, or replacing AC and ventilation filters, for example, or then steer the working group to another meeting room. And this is, for example, the case in not only in the working offices, but if you think about schools, kindergartens and others, so if the CO2 levels start to go too high, the kids are certainly going to be tired, so you can be maybe having extra break on that one and do the ventilation for the room until the CO2 goes down. Then another bit similar thing is the VOC, total volatile organic compounds, and you can be recognizing if there is some organic compounds in the air that you smell something. And it's not necessarily a bad smell, but there can be some fragrances or other smells which are not necessarily good, but might be having some impact to the indoor air quality. And by measuring that in the numeric matter, not just thinking that is there some smell or not, you can be getting the discussions into fact-based discussions, but then also if you combine that information, for example, ventilation system, you can be increasing ventilation there. And even better if you're able to remove the source of the volatile organic compounds things. And this similar parameter can be measured with this TietoEVRY air sensor. Then more typical cases are, for example, temperature measurement. You can be, if you make more precise high-pitch temperature measurement in different rooms, so then you are able to adjust the temperature control or heating or cooling in a more precise way, which will be increasing in the workplace satisfaction, but also it creates a great potential for saving in the heating or cooling costs, and also saving the energy and reduce the CO2 emissions if the energy is produced by some coal, for example. Same thing applies for the humidity, and then the barometric pressure is interesting thing. For example, you can be making measurements on the ventilation quality. For example, filter status, are they dirty or not, and others if you measure in the different places. And then ambient light sensoring is good one, because then you can predict if the lights are on or off, and then also about the working conditions there. So that's the case. And the first two ones can be measured with the TietoEVRY and also temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure. But then the four kind of typical ones, it's a bit cheaper and lighter system, this TietoEVRY environmental sensor. And then we have a rugged version for that, so you can be also using that into warehouses and even outdoors to make these environmental measurements with this rugged version. Then other cases in the facility management, which are live use cases and use. So for example, fill rate data on different dispensers. So measuring fill rate data, for example, on hand towel and paper dispensers. So our customer Lindström is utilizing that very in a large scale to provide information to cleaning personnel that when do they need to change or refill to hand towels or paper dispensers. And you know, there is nothing that annoying that going into the washroom and then notice that there is no hand towel available there. And that minimizes that one, but also it creates or opportunity to optimize the logistic chain well. Well, there is one even more annoying thing what if you miss out. So it's toilet paper. If it's missing out, so then it's a total catastrophe, and with this technology you are able to measure that and make sure that the cleaning personnel have been providing that well there. Also, that sensors are able to make soap or other liquid dispenser fill rates depending on the dispenser type. And then, for example, on the bigger trash bins or then confidential paper bins. And we have two devices to make those kind of measurements. So we have TietoEVRY beam and TietoEVRY distance, which are both based on laser measurement, but also they use a bit different technology in the lasering things and also connectivity things. So it depends slightly on the use case, so which is the right one for which one, and also the geographical distribution. Then one thing what companies are many times measuring is the water leakage. For example, in warehouses or some technical premises or others, so it's good to measure, and everybody wants to be avoiding that there will not be any water damages or others. So if you place the TietoEVRY leakage sensor on the floor, so it can be detecting if there is any standing floor in the standing water on the floor, and it will be sending alert to service personnel that, okay, now there is something wrong. For example, remote monitoring cases in some remote warehouses or technical things, so our customers are using that in quite a wide scale. Then some valve position measurements in technical premises, so there are a lot of these manual hand valves, the TietoEVRY angle is able to make that there. And then on top of this, the very nice thing is that if we have a lot of these sensors in place, so we are able to provide rough positioning. So for example, for the hospital beds, that in which position they are, in which building, to see the position, so that we are not missing about or missing things anymore. But there are some practical use cases, and then the practical means to create the use cases there. So besides the measurement technology, so important thing is to provide also the connectivity anywhere and all times. And that we are able to provide with TietoEVRY gateways and TietoEVRY operations cloud and tools. For example, we just started the production on our TietoEVRY gateway global version, which is providing the latest and all the bells and whistles. For example, LTE category M1, which is the latest cellular technology to provide these IoT cases. And then it also supports the operations practically all the countries in the world. So we are able to create these use cases in any country practically. We have also other options which are working on 2G and then also on wired version on LAN. So in some cases, companies want to use wired version there. To support this, we have a lot of software tools available. We call those TietoEVRY solution suite, which are mobile, desktop, and mobile software tools for system planning, how to install the IoT system, then the installation and maintenance parts. And then, as mentioned in the beginning, this operation cloud provides the connectivity part for everything. So based on this one, so the large-scale systems can be done. So a lot of technology available, a lot of meaningful use cases, a lot of services available. So as said, so we have really reached the plateau productivity in these cases, and happy to provide more information on those ones. I hope this has been good information for all of you. But thank you.
Excellent. Pasi, would you mind giving the control back?
In this case, yes.
Great. So there's a lot of questions that we have received, and we are a little bit over time, but I think we have time for a couple of questions to take from here. Let's see. So there was one question at least about the wireless sensors. So typically these IoT sensors are wireless. So how do you tackle coverage problems? So maybe Pasi can answer that, and then also Jari and Tommy, how have you experienced the coverage issues?
Yeah, and there is also these privacy things. I can take also that. Yes.
Yeah, I do believe that Tommy should also tackle the privacy ones. They're super important thing to actually answer.
Yeah, but let's start with the mesh.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go. Take that one.
Yeah, I'll go before Pasi actually jumps.
Yeah.
Jumps from the product owner side. Yeah,
but information from sensors is typically sent on the mesh network. We call it Wirepass mesh. It's technology developed by a Finnish company called Wirepass. They have been doing that for 20 years, and the system works so that the data is relayed either to gateway or then to sensor next to that one. So, for example, the sensors can be communicating in a free space if there is about 50 or 60 meters space, and then typically in office buildings about 30 meters, which means that the data can be relayed from one floor to another and then easily from one room to another there. And if there is some coverage problem, you just place one sensor more there, and then the data will be relayed there. And then the data will be collected to a gateway. And typically the gateway can be placed in a position where cellular connectivity is available. And if there is not, but instead there is a LAN connectivity, so we have a LAN gateway available. So we have been able to solve the connectivity items even in the most demanding places.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
As we provide end-to-end services to our customers, the connectivity has not been the problem. Sometimes battery, like I said, that more we get real-time data, more faster the batteries can run out. You know, you can even every second year you need to change and do some maintenance, but that's life. But no connectivity. Connectivity is not the issue. At least in Nordic countries, we have very strong cellular networks, and it really works. Nice situation. But if I take this privacy thing, because this is typically asked by in events I'm participating. First of all, when we collect the data from the desks, it's a very stupid movement sensor. It just detects the movement, not person. So that's the occupancy data we collect. Of course, if you are sensoring the desk, which you know that always the same person is using it, yes, then of course that can be turned to be personal data, because then it's a personal data of Tommy. But I don't see any use case that I need to collect the data from the desk that I'm always using. So there's no use case for that. So I recommend that if you have a dedicated desks, don't use sensors. Then you avoid these kind of privacy issues. And when talking about the indoor positioning, Empathic Building has a tool that me as an end user, I can share. It's a tool not to track me. That's a wrong perspective. It's a tool that I can share my thinking, my location, my documents, my projects. I'm creating my digital twin, and I want to share that my colleagues can find me and my information. No one doesn't force me to do it. It's a volunteer tool. So don't think tracking. It's a tool to share.
That's very good. That's very good. Let's take what else we have here. Do you see any questions that you would like to pick? I'm scanning the questions. And by the way, we'll answer these questions to you after the webinar as well. Let's take one more question from here as well. And I think Jari, you have been working with the customer interface, meeting clients and proposing solutions and helping them with digitalization. From where you sit, what do you see? What's the main driver for companies implementing these kind of like smart services for facilities and buildings?
Well, yet again, I have to be politely none taking any sides and saying that the use cases vary a lot from a customer to another, but let's say that most commonly it is around occupancy understanding and understanding the usage of the buildings. So in very many cases, the down-to-earth use case is around the fact that the customer wants to have an understanding on how many people are using the building and at what time, what's the basic coverage of their tables, and just that, does their facility actually meet the needs of the facility users? So that's most commonly.
Good. There is a question about what is the type of sensor or how you can get data which people are where. I believe that's based on the location. On how do you track so many people in
Well, we don't track. Remember, we don't track. We give tool to share, but we are using indoor positioning, and there is several ways that you can do indoor positioning. You can use the Bluetooth mesh, you can use the Bluetooth beacons, you can use the Bluetooth things. You have an ultra wideband, you have Wi-Fi. technologies are there. From our empathic building perspective, we don't care. We get the coordinates, we show the data. So we don't, in that sense, care about the technology providing, for example, as an instance, the location information. There is also a question about how many gateways we have in our building. If I remember correctly, 22.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a topic that I actually meant to comment on when you were talking about the sensors and the coverage. That's a good point by Tommy. Even though it actually works just like Pasi said, that it actually connects from a sensor to another. The thing that I find one of the best parts of this is that we were actually able to utilize IoT sensors in our first floor and in our office floor where we occupy seats for more than 200 people with just one gateway per floor. So that was something really different that we haven't seen yet.
Yes, and one thing to mention that you can be attaching any kind of a sensor behind one gateway or in the mesh network. So it's very easy to add new kind of a services. So if you have a gateway there, so it works as a base station, and then just plug and play for the new kind of sensors and services.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentations. Thank you for all the participants online. When you're having fun, time is flying.
Yes.
We are a little bit over
Yeah,
time.
really.
There are lots of questions still on the chat that we haven't had a chance to answer, but we'll follow up after the event on those. We'll be sharing the recording afterwards as well. So feel free to expect an email from us afterwards. Any final words?
And also shoot us with the emails if you have
Yeah.
any questions later on. Also, we can happily to help without going any sales mode.
Yeah, precisely. I'm more than happy also to answer any kind of questions that you might have.
And remember, Christmas party every day.
Yeah.
Excellent. On that note, thank you everyone. Have a good rest of the
Thanks.
day. Have a good rest of the week. We'll be seeing you around. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.